In this video, we are going to be analysing Blue Apron ticker APRN. Now, to get straight into it, one thing to take note of on Thinkorswim, it has still not updated its old information. You can see it's still around 40-50 cents. Then it's had its massive move up to around $6. Again, this wasn't a natural move. They did have a 1-for-12 reverse stock split. But on Thinkorswim, it has not updated previous information. But don't worry, we can still get our analysis done. And that's because Tastytrade has got the updated information and we've got our standard deviations on there. And again, these levels are near enough the exact same. They're usually different by maybe a cent or two. But overall, it works pretty much the same. So we can see the split did happen here. Now, this is one thing to note. In the case of APRN, it is a hard to borrow stock. So in this case, we might not be able to short it. But this is a thing to note for future reference, definitely something just to watch even if you can't trade it all the time, and it's when a stock has a reverse stock split, when it opens that following day, 9 times out of 10 it tends to sell off this news, and you can see it happened on this day here. We sold off of that news. So I just wanted to point that out because it's something we do see quite regularly on reverse stock splits, because again, it is a fundamentally weak thing if a company has to do one. But anyway, to go over the levels, we can see one was already here when obviously we had our reverse stock split, we sold off, and then we got a kind of temporary, or what I would assume to be a temporary bounce. We hit into the 962. This was our first deviation on the 6 month. Again, as always, the left chart is a 6 month, the right is a 1 year. So we hit into that. And are starting to pull back now. So for right now, really to me, there isn't much trading opportunity. We have fair value at around $7.10. So until we kind of hit into there, we're kind of in that range where there's not really much trade to do. If we were short bias, final target now is going to be 730. So I wouldn't be looking to hold that short past that level. Now, quickly to note buy levels, if we were looking to get long this stock, again, not something I'm personally long at, because you can see on the 6 month, we're trending down. The 1 year, we're trending down. Whenever I see this, and especially when it's a small cap stock, I don't really want to try and buy this falling knife, because if a stock falls 90%, it can easily fall another 90%. So that's one thing to note. But if you really did want to get long bias, 960, 210 would be those two levels I'd be paying attention to. Again, first deviation and second deviation. We're really having to look at the 6 month only for this chart, because we can see on the 1 year, we're really not near any prices. On the downside, they're all negative. On the upside, the closest level is $18. So we went through the downside, we went through fair value. Again, we went through the 960. Potentially another short bias level if we kind of re-push to that level. But again, considering we've hit that recently, you're taking on extra risk. So I would be more patient if we went to $12.12. That's our next short bias opportunity. Again, if we were long bias, it's really going to kind of be our final target. We wouldn't really look to hold past here. And then final target or short bias level is going to be around that third deviation, and that's at $14.60. So again, if we come up to these highs, if we're long bias, those are targets. If we're a short bias trader, these are where we look to play the pullback and or overall reversal. Again, if we start breaking through these 6 month chart highs, then what we could be paying attention to is that $18, which is that first deviation on the 1 year, and then $40, which is the second deviation on the 1 year as well. But again, these things to note, the likelihood of hitting these levels aren't all that high, because again, the company is fundamentally weak. And I think the problem with a company like Blue Apron is they're just nowhere near their competitors. In an industry like this, you have the big name, which is HelloFresh, at least over in the Europe side. Don't actually hear as many people in the US on that. But the thing that Blue Apron, is going to be hard to expand in somewhere like Europe, which is going to be a big market, just because HelloFresh is really dominating it. And that's what kind of puts me off with this stock, even a longer term view, is until it kind of shows that it's asserting its dominance in those kind of markets, it is probably just going to stay quite weak. So we can look at these further off levels, and I would be paying attention to these short bias if we do pop. Because again, I do think the move will be quite short-lived if we kind of break above that 960. And I think one real way to kind of see that it's most likely going to be short-lived is it just had to do a 1-for-12 reverse stock split. Whenever you see this, it's always bad for a company. So really, I try and follow that 6 month and that 1 year trend. Going to try and follow at these short bias levels. Again, can be a bit hard to trade because of the shares are hard to borrow. So again, if there's no way for me to be able to kind of get short bias on this, not something I'm non-biased, so it will be something I just stay away from on my own account. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, you will probably enjoy this video too.